Creed, why I love them, why you should too. Their return to form in their Summer of '99 tour, which I can't wait to see in Tampa, Florida. And in general, what was going on in 1997. Hi folks, it's Brent back with another video, hopefully a watchable one from BC Dubs. Support's been really good. If you find this video consumable, watchable, please leave a like. Turn those bell notifications on. I post a new video almost every single day. And yeah, man, leave a comment below about what you think about this video. So anyway, let's get into it. The year, 1997. We had many one-hit wonders. Rock was coming out of the grunge era and the mad white guy era, excuse me, of grunge. And it really didn't know where it was going. The people were either dying or literally dying from the grunge movement. We had members of bands like Mother Love Bone and obviously Kurt Cobain, who passed away. Scott Weiland was still with us at the time, and I can't remember if Lane Staley was after '97 or not, but grunge was a dying movement. Nirvana killed all my metal, as I knew it at the time, and music was going in a different direction. And, 97 was a year where rock was trying to get its footing, and who was going to be the next great act with songs and one-hit wonders that nobody will ever forget. From Harvey Danger, Flagpole Sitter, Marcy's Playground, Sex and Candy, Eagle Eye Cherry, Save Tonight, and Smash Mouth's Walking on the Sun. All forgettable songs, I would say, for the most part. Well, except for Harvey Danger's Flagpole Sitter, I still really enjoy that song, but really not much after that really came out from Harvey Danger. We were consumed with songs all over the radio, like Puff Daddy, Missing You with Faith Evans, and Will Smith's Getting Jiggy with It. And who can forget Missy Misdemeanor, The Rain. The always present beach spring break. It seemed like every spring break she was putting out another tune that people would. I'm from South Alabama, and we would go to Panama City Beach. And I remember going up and down Thomas Drive in Panama City Beach in 1996, and it was Who's Got the Keys to My Jeep by Missy. And then in 97, it was The Rain. She seemed to always come out with that summertime, springtime, hooky song that everyone could relate to. But who was going to hold the torch for the people like me who loved the thrash metal from the 80s, fell in love with bands like Pearl Jam and their debut album 10 and their follow-up Versus, and bands like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden. And those bands are fizzing out at the time. Sure, Metallica was there with 97 was Reload, which, Metallica is my favorite band. Hence, I always put, by the way, guys, anytime you watch a music video of mine, I always have two different albums up here in the background. It's just kind of something I do, see if anybody notices. But yeah, Metallica was out at the time, but nothing, there were bands that were established like Smashing Pumpkins and other bands like that were putting out music, but who was the new band? Who was going to carry the torch for hard rock for guys like me? Well, I got an answer for you. 1997. Turn on the radio. So done with Marcy's Playground and Missy Misdemeanor. We did get some great bands that also debuted in 1997, like Queens of the Stone Age and Muse and Third Eye Blind, who I particularly love. All great bands, but they were still on the alternative side for me at the time, and I needed some heavy riffs and some powerful vocals and some staying power from a new band. And who was it going to be? I remember turning on the radio and I heard this song and I was like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Maybe this band would do it. And of course, the band that I'm talking about tonight is Creed. And this album, My Own Prison, 1997, came out. Went out and grabbed this record. What a phenomenal record. Front to back, just a great record. with songs like Torn, Ode, My Own Prison, Pity for a Dime, Only in America, What's This Life For, and One. This album alone had 1, 2, 3, 4 number one songs on it. And I knew, I was like, man, I can get behind this band. Got the album, put it in, it never came out. It never came out of the tape deck, because that's what I was listening to music at on the time, was cassette. Never came out, man. Memorized every chord, every lyric to that album, and it was great. It was great. So massive tour, sold millions of records off that album. But you know, I've seen a lot of this before. Was there going to be a sophomore slump? Were they just going to go off into the abyss like Third Eye Blind? No. What we got next from Creed was a massive hit of an album, Human Clay, with, once again, songs like Are You Ready? What If? Faceless Man, With Arms Wide Open, and Higher. They were able to touch hard rock and rock and roll audiences and move over into mainstream adult hit genre with songs like With Arms Wide Open. On this album alone, Creed had 1, 2, 3, 4 number one hits. We're up to 8 or 9. I think the band as a whole had a total of 11 number one hits. I know that they sold 53 million records, 28 million in the US alone, and this band Creed was just a rocket ship. What's next? We get Weathered. Noticeably missing is one of the members from the band. Didn't know it at the time, because I really wasn't that, I just wanted to hear the music. I really wasn't that big, and I was 17 in 1997. Really wasn't too big in like following backstories on bands at the time. I mean, the only way I could get information was via magazine, like Revolver or Hit Parader or magazines like that. And, you know, I grew up in South Alabama, a long way away from any magazine stores. And yes, the internet came out in 1995, but it was dial-up, and it took like 3 days for a page to load. So we were still having to find out everything through the radio and through magazines and through television at the time. Being how I didn't have cable, we only had, I think, we had NBC, ABC, CBS, and Fox. Fox, I think, debuted in 90 or 91 or something like that. But didn't have any MTV or anything like that, and living in the middle of a daggone cotton and peanut and chicken farm. So that's just the long and short of it. But we got Weathered. Bought that record. And with songs like One Last Breath and My Sacrifice, I mean, they just kept pumping it out. And I thought to myself, okay, first album's fantastic, sure. They have plenty of time to polish that record off, tour, you know, in the bar scene with those songs. So of course that's going to be a great debut album. No fall off from the second album though. And then the third album hits, and no fall off there. I mean, probably my favorite Creed song of all time is Who's Got My Back Now, which is on their third album. So everything was right in the world of Brent and rock and roll music. And then the unthinkable happened. A band that was going up, selling all these albums right before they went on their very first full-size stadium tour. They broke up. They broke up due to differences in the band. It's long been documented. Scott Stapp's, drinking, and he wasn't the only person in the band that had drinking and drug problems at the time. I don't know so much about drugs. I know Scott had a drug problem. I don't know about the other members of the band. Nothing's ever been said about Tremonti, one of my favorite guitarists of all time. It seemed like he was always the constant in the band. But yeah, drugs, drinking, alcohol, it'll tear you apart. Egos, now they're all millionaires. The other members in the band started noticing that they were being labeled as a Christian, quote unquote, act. And I don't think Tremonti liked that. And I don't think the other guys in the band signed up for that. And Scott Stapp really wasn't unapologetic about it. I mean, not that he was, or they were a Christian band. He just wrote about lyrical content about religion and God. And if you know anything about his backstory, he was brought up in a Christian home and he was beaten in the name of God. So he was torn with these emotions. And just like any great artist or any great musician or poet or filmmaker, if they're not putting music out from their heart, it's trash music to me. I mean, let's face it. I mentioned one of these bands at the beginning of this video, Marcy's Playground, Sex and Candy. That's garbage music, man. That's fluff. That's candy pop to me. I don't like it. Don't want anything to do with it. So, of course, when he's writing his lyrics and he's pouring his emotions out on stage and singing, he's talking about the things that affected him in his life. Being torn between a personal relationship with God and the religious aspect of Christianity. And it comes out in his lyrics. And I think maybe some of the members of the band kind of resented that. It's been said that members of the band came up to him and said, hey man, we ain't really been paying attention, but we didn't sign up for this. What are you writing about, here? This is all deeply religious. But he had songs like Torn, and there you go, he's torn. So, I don't know. Are they a Christian band? No, they're not a Christian band. They're a hard rock band, man, and that's what they are. Full of great riffs and great lyrics, great production in their music, great stage presence, and absolutely phenomenal vocals from Scott Stapp. And pretty damn good musicians. I mean, Mark Tremonti is one of my favorite guitarists of all time. Influenced growing up listening to the Master of Puppets record. That's what he kind of styled his guitar playing after. You can hear it in some of his riffs, if not in Creed's music, but in Alter Bridge's music, which of course is Creed minus Scott Stapp. I mean, listen to Creed. They're hard rock, man. Sure, they got some ballady stuff like Pity for a Dime and With Arms Wide Open. But he wrote that song about his kid, man. So, of course, it's going to be on the softer side. But a lot of their stuff was heavy. If you don't believe me, listen to songs like Ode and songs like Bullets and songs like Who's Got My Back. And riffs on songs like Weathered or Ode or What's This Life For? And let's get into some stuff on Human Clay. Faceless Man, What If? Come on, man. Beautiful. Love that track. They're a hard rock band. And I think that, there's a lot of bands you can point to at the time that became memes. Creed never really became a meme. Almost to their advantage, they broke up at the right time. Now, yes, they did reform and put out an album called Full Circle. I was looking for it here. I don't have it or I've lost it. I know I have had it at one point. I was just looking through all my CDs earlier, and there's quite a few of them missing. Man, I don't know. I should have done a better job back in the day of keeping up with my stuff. But hey, man, I was a kid. But anyway, yeah, man, Creed. If what you remember about Creed is, sappy and, mainstream or whatever, and you kind of brushed them off, go back and give them a listen. Listen to Human Clay record. Listen to My Own Prison and the Weathered album. Listen to Full Circle. Go back and give them a listen, man. There's nothing else good going out and brand new in rock today. What are you going to do? Pop in a Greta Van Fleet album? I mean, a regurgitated Led Zeppelin band? I mean, they're just a cover band for criminy's sake. I mean, I don't know what Avenged Sevenfold is doing with their new music. I just can't get into it. Every Disturbed album, and I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry my Disturbed fans if you're watching, sounds the same to me. You know, Pearl Jam did just put out a new record though. Check that out. And Chevelle put out a new album last year, but really with rock and roll, there's not a lot of good stuff going on out there. And I've been saying it, and it's funny. And but oh shoot, I'm getting off track. So yeah, they got back together, put out Full Circle, and just they fell apart again. Sorry, man, I just left everybody hanging there. My apologies. But I've been saying for years, rock and roll needs another great album from Creed. That's what rock needs. I mean, my boys Metallica, they keep holding the torch. They keep putting their hand to the stove and their feet to the fire. 2016, last year, I mean, they're still putting out great rock records. Somebody else has got to do it, and why not Creed? So check it out. I don't know, I know some of my Creed fans have been following YouTube and some of the YouTube clips of their reunion show they just had on the Summer '99 tour. They kicked it off on a cruise ship. They look happy to be together, and then I saw the interviews. And I think it was Rockfeed, the guy from Rockfeed, I can't remember his name, sorry buddy, but the guy from Rockfeed straight up asked Mark Tremonti, he was like, man, you guys like you're having fun? He's like, yeah man, this is great. This is everything we hoped it would be. And I don't think he was talking about the reception from the fans as much as he was talking about reuniting with his brothers from Creed. They're all in a good place. They all matured. And he asked him, he said, is there going to be any new music? And Tremonti said, oh yeah, we're going to work on some new music, more or less. Fantastic news, man. Now, I don't know if he's talking about a full album. I know Scott Stapp's got his own solo project. I know Mark Tremonti's got stuff all over the planet, you know, with Alter Bridge, which I don't really know what's going on with that. Need to look that up. Maybe they've kind of separated for a time. He's sung songs with Saliva. He's done, was it Frank Sinatra? Go check his stuff out where he did a bunch of Frank Sinatra covers. He's got his own band called Tremonti. Speaking of being heavy, and if you don't think Mark Tremonti is heavy, and let me see this right here. Hold on. Bear with me. I'll find it. Right here. This record right here. This is a heavy metal album, is what this is. This is heavy metal from Mark Tremonti. Oh, yeah. You don't think I like Mark Tremonti. There's Alter Bridge. 72 Seasons for some reason thrown in there. Alter Bridge. And I'm missing a couple of Alter Bridge's stuff. But man, I really love the music with Alter Bridge, but I just can't. Is it Miles Kennedy? Not my favorite singer. Scott Stapp is one of my favorite singers of all time though. Love you, Scott. Like you'll ever see this video. But if you ever do, love you guys, love everything you stand for and everything you've ever put out. Now, Creed is talking about they're back together. They're touring. The reception's been absolutely amazing. All their videos from their Summer '99 tour are going viral. Maybe the boys forgot how many people love them. I mean, 53 million records sold. I mean, there's not a lot of rock bands that can say that. But I think they're realizing that the rock world needs Creed more than ever. And we're seeing a resurgence of bands per se. You know, I got to see Bush in live, and one of my favorite bands of all time, Our Lady Peace, 2 or 3 years ago tour. I even heard that the Butthole Surfers, of all people, are coming out with a new album or working on new material. But how amazing would it be for Creed to come out with 9, 10, 11, 12 new songs, put them on an album, hell, release it on vinyl, and vinyl only, I don't care, and put out a massive, massive stadium-wide tour. I love Creed. You know, I fell into them at a time in my life where I needed a new band, and they were just the next step in my journey in my rock history. And they weren't just a stepping stone for me. They was something that I heard and I loved and attached to my, you know, they pulled on my heartstrings. Love everything about them. And I think you should too. If you haven't heard Creed in a while, now's the perfect time. Download My Own Prison, whether it's Human Clay or Full Circle. Give it a listen. Put it in your rock playlist. Heck, hit shuffle or mix it up with the rest of your rock stuff. But man, if you don't have any Creed in your playlist when you're at the gym or walking or exercising or just generally laying around the house or working around the house, put some in there, man. Give them a listen again. I bet you'll be pleasantly surprised. That's pretty much it for my review today. I hope the guys get in the studio, or not my review, but my video for today. I hope the guys get in the studio, put out some new music. I love the fact that these guys are having a good time on tour. Yours truly gets to go see them. And yes, I'm bragging here, in Tampa in September at the Amphitheater. I'm so blessed to get to do that. It'll be a bucket list check mark for me. If there's anything in this video that you want to comment on, please leave a comment down below. When do you remember hearing Creed for the first time? Are you guys and girls excited about Creed potentially putting out new music and being on tour? Have you bought your tickets? Are you going to see them? They're playing 63 shows. Let me know. I want it back and forth with you guys in this community. Anyway, I hope everybody has a blessed day or a blessed night, and we'll see you on the next one.